The Diplodocus that stood proudly in the Natural History Museum for more than a century is set to return, with hands. This year Dippy the dinosaur left London for Toronto, Canada, where it is being restored. 2 of the replica's 4 feet will have been replaced by hands when it returns to the UK in January, as dinosaur experts reverse an error that was made while it was being assembled more than 100 years ago. The dinosaur is set to return to the UK in January, when a more accurate replica of the Diplodocus will feature hands instead of front feet. Replacing its front feet with hands will correct the common misconception that the dinosaur walked in a fashion similar to today's quadrupedal mammals, according to the Telegraph. The Diplodocus actually put most of its weight on its rear limbs and tail, resulting in deep footprints at the back and half crescents at the front. Professor Paul Barrett from the museum explained the front feet were added ahead of a national tour because the people building it did have Diplodocus hands. Dippy would have walked on the tips of his fingers in a sort of graceful ballet step, he said. Despite the display, the dinosaur actually distributed most of its weight on its rear limbs and also used its tail for support. Dippy is a plaster cast, but we are taking care of him as if he's an original fossil. If anything, it's harder than a real fossil because it's more fragile. The plaster has become crumbly as it's dried over time. The attraction is a near-perfect replica of a dinosaur that was uncovered in the US in 1898. Dippy found himself in London when industrialist Andrew Carnegie gifted the replica to the museum after King Edward VII saw a sketch of the actual skeleton, which was being displayed at Carnegie Museum of Natural History. When the king saw the fossil, which was being held in Pittsburgh, he requested a British copy, which took 18 months to build. It was transported to Britain in 36 crates and unveiled to the public in 1905. When the replica returns, it will stand with its head raised and its tail lifted off the ground. The dinosaur was temporarily replaced by a whale skeleton while it was being restored in Toronto, Canada. Dippy will then tour the country to show off its new stance, being publicly displayed outside London for the first time ever. Lorraine Cornish, who has overseen the rebuilding, said, "He's part of the national collection, so BE belongs to the nation, so it's right that as many people as possible can see him. We hope it will inspire future generations." The real-life Dippy would have weighed about 13 tons when he was living between 145 and 156 million years ago. The Natural History Museum's 68-foot-long cast was replaced in the summer by an 82-foot whale skeleton. The museum is also planning a life-size replica of Dippy to stand outside the hall for passers-by to view.